Namaskar, greetings from SGT University. All of you must have heard about the evolution of man, but have you ever wondered how public health evolved from ancient times to how it is today? Let us take you on a journey through time and give you an insight into the evolution of public health from ancient times to modern times. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to describe public health in ancient times, understand the birth of modern public health, elucidate public health in India from ancient times to modern times. Before we embark upon our journey, we should know what is public health. Winslow in 1920 said that public health is an art and science of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health and efficiency through organized community efforts. Let us start our journey through ancient civilization. The first civilization is the Chinese civilization. The Chinese believed that health was a balance between yin and yang, that means the good and the bad. Hygiene was a determinant of health for the Chinese. They had knowledge regarding acupuncture, massage, and hydrotherapy. They also practiced variolation against smallpox in those times as well. The next civilization is the Egyptian civilization. Egyptians believed that medicine was intermingled with religion. Egyptian physicians were treated as co-priests and were trained in schools inside the temples. They believed that disease was due to absorption from the intestine. In that period of time, they had knowledge regarding diseases caused due to worms, rheumatism, diabetes, and even polio. They built public baths and sewers. They also had an idea regarding inoculation against smallpox, had an idea about usage of mosquito nets, and even had an idea about the association between rats and plague. From the Egyptians, let's move on to the Greeks. For the Greeks, Asclepios was a symbol of medical profession. They believed in the goddess of Hygeia and Panacea, who were the goddesses of health and medicine. The Greeks gave the humoral theory and believed that health was there when all the four humors were in equilibrium. Hippocrates was a great personality in the Greek times and also gave the Hippocratic Oath, which is followed by doctors even today. The Greeks outrightly rejected the supernatural cause of disease, which was known as miasma at that point of time itself. From the Greeks, let's move on to another great civilization, that was of the Romans. The Romans had a keen sense of sanitation. They started sewage disposal, they started building baths, public sewers, and also started the concept of reporting diseases. Galen, who was a great personality at the time of the Romans, said that disease was caused when there was presence of predisposing, exciting, and environmental factors, which is similar to the epidemiological factors which are prevalent in today's times as well. From the ancient times, let's move on to the Middle Ages. In the Middle Ages, there was deterioration of the Roman infrastructure and no new knowledge was added. In fact, there was plague in the 14th century in almost entire Europe, and diseases were seen as inescapable. Result was a manifestation of survival of health, although the Italians had started various procedures for epidemic control. The various procedures that were taken by them were isolation of patients, cleaning of areas with lime, and burning off the rat-infested areas. The birth of modern public health was marked when the theory of contagion was given by Fracastro. Vesalius made anatomical discoveries in the 16th century. William Harvey explained the physiology of blood flow in 1628. Thomas Sydenham was a distinguished epidemiologist in the British era, also was called as the father of English medicine. In the 16th century as well, Leeuwenhoek discovered microorganisms and also discovered the microscope. In 1796, Edward Jenner gave smallpox vaccine and helped many people at that point of time. After that, a great incident took place that was called the Great Sanitary Awakening, which was started when the anti-filth crusade started, which was a result of a study done by Chadwick, that in the end resulted in the giving of the British Public Health Act in the 1848. After that, a great personality known as John Snow gave the role of microorganisms in the spread of cholera, and later cholera was said to be the father of public health. Vaccination became compulsory in 1853, and Sir John Simon in the year 1866 finally gave the Sanitary Act. After that period, another concept came into being, which was the concept of social medicine. Virchow believed that social condition was the root cause of typhus epidemic. He also believed that any disease had social cause, social consequence, and social therapy. During that point of time, there was conceptual evolution in the public health as well. There were 4 phases of public health that were given at that point of time. The first phase was the disease control phase in 1880 and lasted till 1920, that basically aimed at control of diseases. The second phase was the phase of health promotion, which lasted from 1920 to 1960, in which the main concern was health promotion. The third phase was the social engineering phase, that lasted from 1960 to 1980, in which there was emergence of risk factors. The fourth phase was the health for all phase, which lasted from 1980 to 2000, in which health was a matter of equity and health was supposed to be distributed evenly irrespective of any external factors. After that, in 2000, United Nations gave the Millennium Developmental Goals, in which there were 8 goals and 3 goals were health related. After that, in 2015, United Nations gave the Sustainable Developmental Goals, which are supposed to be completed by the year 2030, in which there are 17 goals and the third goal is related to health. So that was the timeline of public health around the world. Now let us see the evolution of public health in India. Let us begin with ancient India. In ancient India, Indus Valley civilization was a civilization that showed great progress. They built elaborate drainage system, they built baths, sewers, and in the houses they built wells and public baths. Now let us move on to the Vedic times. In Vedic times, Ayurveda was originated. In Ayurveda, Charaka was a great author who gave a book called Charak Samhita, in which 500 drugs was prescribed. They also believed that purity and cleanliness was the center cause of Indian medicine. In his book, he also objectified that preservation of good health and combat of diseases was very important. Now let us move on to the post-Vedic times. In the post-Vedic times, Ayurveda continued to flourish. However, some Jain and Buddhist teachings were added. Hospital system was encouraged and institutional setup was strengthened. Medical education was started in the universities at that point of time. From ancient India, let's move on to British India, also known as colonial India. In 1760, Indian Medical Service was established. In 1835, medical colleges were established in India. In 1873, birth and death certificates registration was started. In 1904, Malarial Research Institute was established and also a plague commission was established in India. During that period of time, infectious disease were rampant and there was undermining of the indigenous medical systems. In 1946, Sir Joseph Bohr gave the Bohr Committee report, which aimed at integration of preventive and curative services. They also advocated setting up of health centers and setting up of central institutions. From the colonial India, India attained independence in 1947. After that, in 1948, India became signatory to the World Health Organization. In 1951, BCG vaccination was made mandatory in India. In 1953, National Malarial Control Program was given, which was followed by the National Leprosy Control Program in 1954, which was again followed by the National Filarial Control Program in 1955. In 1963, another governmental committee which was known as the Chadda Committee came into being. They advocated the role of multi-purpose healthcare worker. In 1973, another committee came into being that was known as the Kartar Singh Committee, which advocated that the ANMs should be replaced by the female healthcare workers. In 1975, the last case of smallpox was reported in India in Assam. In 1978, Alma-Ata Declaration was passed and India became signatory to the Alma-Ata Declaration. In 1990s, the Reproductive and Child Health Program was started, which was also followed by the DOTS pilot project. In the year 2000, India became signatory to the Millennium Developmental Goals. In 2002, the National Health Policy was given, which was to be advocated in the entire country. In 2003, COTPA Act, that was Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act, was established and which was a major step in tobacco legislation. In 2005, Reproductive and Child Health Program Part 2 was given. Also, important program which was known as the National Rural Health Mission was passed, and also for pregnant ladies, Janani Suraksha Yojana was started. In 2006, the Public Health Foundation of India was initiated. In 2007, a set of standards known as the IPHS, also known as Indian Public Health Standards, were given for sub-centers and primary healthcare centers. In 2008, Non-Communicable Disease Program was established. In 2011, the Geriatric Health Program was given by the government. In 2014, the government gave Swachh Bharat Mission, which basically aimed at sanitation. In 2014 as well, Mission Indradhanush was given by the government, in which vaccination was given to 89 lakh children by year 2020. In 2014 as well, Mission TB was initiated. In 2017, Niti Aayog replaced the Planning Commission and took charge for any planning-related activities in India. In 2017 as well, a revised national health policy was initiated by the government. After witnessing the journey of public health, let us throw some light on the importance of history of public health. Despite making great advancements in the field of public health, from disease control phase to health for all to having sustainable developmental goals, a situation of a pandemic which is caused by microorganisms forces us to go back to methods that were employed in pandemics that took place previously. Having an idea about the history of public health gives us an opportunity to fight adverse situations with time-tested knowledge, and also gives us a chance to overcome adversity. Through this historical journey, we have seen that public health saw many ups and downs throughout the world in ancient times through modern times. Public health in ancient India was strong, however, suffered setback due to invasions and colonial rule. However, post-independence, strides have been made to improve the standards of public health in India. By now, you must have understood about the historical aspect of public health both globally and in India. You must have also realized the importance of having some knowledge regarding history of public health, as it prepares us to combat any adverse situation that crops up suddenly. I hope this lecture was beneficial for you. Thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day.